Hey you guys, what is up? What is happening? What is going on with you today? I am Ashley with AHM Artistry, and in today's video, I want to tell you guys my real, honest truth. Not a first impressions, my real honest review about these newer Makeup Revolution foundation, concealer, powder, primer products that I've been testing out for a while now. I have the Conceal and Hydrate Concealer, Conceal and Hydrate Foundation, the Pore Blur Primer, and the newer setting powder that they have. These launched about 2 months ago, and I've had my hands on it for a while, and I've tried it lots of different ways and this and that, and seeing which pairs best and whatnot. So I want to talk about that today. I want to tell you guys my actual review as well as show you me applying them, and I have a few different ways and stuff that I'm going to be showing you up closes, zoomed in, really just down to the nitty gritty because I have a lot to say about this stuff. So that is what we're going to be digging into today. But before we do that, I do want to mention really quickly, if you are new to my channel and new to my face and this mug right here, I would love it if you would consider at any point going down and hitting that little red subscribe button. That way you get notified when I post new videos, which is about 3 times a week. And I would love to have you a part of my little journey, our fam bam, our community, and we can talk details. If you've tried any of these products at all, definitely leave me down in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are, because a lot of people read the comments and they want to find out what other people are saying about these products as well, and if they like them and if they don't. So let me know your tea. Let's talk. Anyways, let's go back to my personal opinion and thoughts and wear and everything like this on these products. And if you guys want to see all that, then you came to the right place. So all you need to do now is sit back, hang tight, and keep on watching. Boop, boop, boop. All right, so let's just get straight to the point here. I'm not gonna like lollygag you guys around or whatever that means. I don't really like these products. I mean, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna show you why. They're very finicky with me. They're very finicky with my skin. I don't know. It's just not really working out that great. Well, I'll first let you know that I started with all 4 of the products. So the primer, the foundation, concealer, powder, all of them I was using for a couple days. When I very first put this on by myself in my bathroom, as I would do when I'm testing out products, I loved it. I was like, the foundation, the coverage is amazing. This looks so good. My skin looks creamy and dewy and everything looks wonderful. And then about an hour later, I'm not even kidding, it looked so bad. It was masky and weird and just separate-y and just not good. And I was so bummed. But I still did it about 2 more times in that same situation. Just tried experimenting with using less and everything, and it just wasn't working out, and it was so sad because I just loved how the finish looked and everything looked so good. It just didn't sit on my skin very well. I don't know if it's me and my body chemistry and everything. My skin is more on the dry side. However, I have such like a nailed down skincare regimen that it's more normal. So I don't get like an oily T-zone, but I don't have dry patches. So that's my skin currently. I would say it's pretty normal at this point in my life, thanks to my skincare. I do still like the hydrated look. I don't like to look too dry. So that's why this line intrigued me, because I thought maybe it'll help to make my foundation not look as dry. That tends to be a problem with mattifying foundations and everything. So I wanted to give this a go. So I tried it that way with this whole combination. That didn't work. So I started experimenting with different types of combinations. I used the CoverGirl hydrating primer, thinking that maybe the 2 hydrating things would go better together. I used so many different primers. I have a favorite from the Makeup Obsession line, which is the sister brand of this one, the Even Out primer. That's a green correcting primer. That didn't go well. I even used the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, which I talked about a couple days ago in my last video reviewing all the Milk bestsellers, and I love that primer, and it saved one of my foundations that just does not work out at all. But I mentioned to you guys in that video, there's one particular foundation that it couldn't even save, and that was this one. It looked so bad, you guys, that I had to go and wash it off immediately. It was so bad. I was like, let me just try it really quickly. We were just hanging out at the house that day. I put it on and I was like, oh, taking this right off. So it didn't even look good for that first hour. So I knew that wasn't a good pairing. So it's a little bit finicky, I would say. Every type of primer that I put with this looked totally different. So that's why I was kind of optimistic. Like maybe if I get the right pairing, So I'm gonna show you guys today me applying this routine, this round, one more time in a different technique. One side of my face, I applied it with no primer because I hadn't tried that yet. And on the other side of my face, I used the Makeup Revolution baking oil because I thought, again, hydrating. I love that baking oil. It's so good. I love it. So I thought that would be a good technique to do. And then I went in with the concealer that I'm also reviewing, the Conceal and Hydrate Concealer, just to cancel out the cheeks, which I usually do because I have a lot of discoloration there. That seemed to do fine. It doesn't make my pores emphasized or anything like that. And then I put the Conceal and Hydrate foundation right over the top. Now I wanted to do only one pump this time because I don't usually look at other people's reviews of products, but I wanted to see before I sat down and filmed this, am I the only one feeling this way? Are there people that absolutely love it? Like, what are they using to pair with it? Or are there people that just hate it and it's not working for them? And across the board, I would pretty much say, I just watched a few like videos, just a couple snippets, and nobody was like floored by it. Everybody was just kind of like, it's mediocre. So I'm on that same mediocre train slash really don't like it. So the foundation in particular, we are not BFFs. So that's not working out very well. Even the concealer we'll talk about in a second, it's not like going the best in certain areas. So anyways, while I was researching those videos, I went ahead and read some of the comments on the videos, and a few people had mentioned you only should be doing one pump. Less is more, or else it gets cakey and masky and looking, which is the problem that I was having after an hour. And I was using more than one pump originally when I was testing this on my own. So I was like, maybe that's the problem. Maybe it should just be a medium coverage. It does claim to be a medium to full coverage, so it does get full coverage when you use a lot more. So I figured I would try it in the medium way and see if it at least lasted better on my skin. So I did the one pump and it was a medium coverage and it blended out fine, but you could see just the coverage wasn't as amazing. It didn't blow me out of the water right away, but I was like, at least maybe it'll wear better. So now I have you guys all zoomed in after applying the foundation, and I hope you can see, but I feel like the baking oil side definitely looks pretty good. Like, I'm not really seeing any issues. The pores look really nice. Everything looks really smooth, but the side that doesn't have any primer at all, it's just already separating weird. It's not sticking to my face. It's kind of masking. And the nose on both sides looks a little iffy. It looks a little dry, which is weird because this is supposed to hydrate. So then I went ahead and went in with the concealer and blended that all out. Everything blends really nicely. It feels like it's going to be a really nice concealer. Not crazy full coverage, but enough. And I thought things were going pretty okay.
And it was this very moment that Ashley realized that the colors that she picked out for her foundation and concealer possibly were not the correct shades, and in fact were maybe 1 or 2 shades too light. Oh no.
Anyway, so I blended that all out. Yeah, the color match doesn't look the best, but I also have 3 giant lights pointing at me right now. So everything kind of looks lighter on my face, but once I get bronzer and stuff and everything, it'll blend out. So I'm gonna zoom you back in to show you guys how everything's looking. Again, the eye without any primer looks a little bit rolly and weird, but the baking oil side looks promising, looks pretty good. Nose is looking a little bit better with the concealer, but still questionable. The baking oil side just overall looks really good. So I was really optimistic about that. So I went ahead and used the powder, got the shade Light Lavender in the powder because I thought it would help with brightening and maybe making my skin look a little less yellow, because under the eye area it tends to turn really yellow. This powder is actually called the Conceal and Fix Setting Powder. I took that and I tapped it all on underneath and set my under eyes and set everywhere. I will say with this powder, the one thing I did like was on my forehead. I have, you know, just natural smile lines on my forehead. They're not noticeable. There's a little tiny bit, but when I have the hydrating foundation on, you can kind of see them a little bit more, just the way the light picks up. So when I set it with the powder, they did almost kind of look like they smoothed away. So I was like, ooh, goody, this will be really nice. For some reason, this doesn't, none of these look good under the eye area. Let me just tell you, it looks cakey, it looks creasy, it's just not a pretty look. Everywhere else on the face though, the powder works just fine. I think it looks nice around the pores. I have tried this powder with a couple other foundations and it was fine. My personal opinion, it's a little too powdery looking, a little too powdery looking, but for an affordable product, I mean, this powder right here is only $11. It's the best drugstore powder that I've used personally, so I don't want to knock it too hard. It has been the best one, but it's not like my holy grail powder overall. But unfortunately, that's Hourglass. Sorry, that's way more expensive. But again, this is the best drugstore one that I've used so far. But it is more powdery looking. If you're really oily, you might enjoy it. It just didn't help with the under eyes at all. But I think the damage was probably already done with the under eyes with the concealer and the foundation. I don't know. Anyways, so this is what everything looks like all zoomed in for you. As you can see, I'm already having some issues. Everything looks really masky now with the powder on top. It seems like they don't go well together, but I've tried this combination with other powders and that didn't go well together either. Even my Hourglass setting powder. If I was using these and I tried the Hourglass setting powder for the first time, I would think that was like a piece of garbage powder for $50 almost, and it would actually be these that are the culprit. So that's a good reason why we test throughout the months to see how things are actually going. But yeah, a little too powdery for me. Things weren't really looking that good. And bonus, I'm gonna show you what this combination all looked like after only 2 hours of wear time. So hopefully you can see what I mean. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's already so powdery. It's caking up. The under eye areas just look awful on both sides, which I was really hopeful for the oil side because, you know, the oil side seemed to be doing so much better. But no, after settling in, it moved right into those fine lines, rolled right into them, and it's gross. The chin and the lip area look gross, around the nose look gross. Just everything it's awful. It's awful, it's terrible. So there you have it. That's only 2 hours of wear time, so that is no bueno. Don't like that, That is giving it two more chances to really blow me away, or at least be like a good, decent drugstore situation. Now I'm gonna start applying it in the way that I think is the best way, and it's like, it's the best of the worst kind of situation, but it's with using all 4 of these, but using a lighter hand. So again, like I said at the beginning of the video, when I first applied everything and used a decent amount, it looked so good, so flawless. It just didn't wear well. So if I could figure out how to keep it looking like that, then it would be fine. But like I said, even the Hourglass Veil translucent powder didn't work. My Tarte powder that usually works fine didn't work. A different primer, nothing was working. So this has been the best bet. It's actually the whole situation that I'm wearing right now. However, I will show you guys me applying them and the up closes, because I feel like with the lights and everything, this looks fine. My makeup looks fine. I could go out the door and be great. But if you're like this close to me, you're gonna be like,
nice mask, bra.
Like, you can see it's makeup-y. And it's like, obviously I'm wearing makeup. I don't care if people know that I'm wearing makeup, but I don't want it to look like it's sitting on top of my skin. And that's the problem here. So I went in with the primer first. Now this is the Pore Blur Primer, and it's a little chunky in the tube, so I have to shake it up and kind of mush it around, but even still, you'll see it squirts out on me. Not very fun. You can see the consistency is kind of chunky, but it's a pore primer, so it has that pore blurring primer feel. Now, I really like this primer. I have used it with a couple other foundations, and it is a really good primer, so I do like that. I just think, again, there's just no saving this, but this has been the best primer for this combo. The retail of that one is only $8, and you can't beat that. So if you need a good pore primer, try this one, because it might be a good dupe for a high-end one. I think I like it a little bit better than the Smashbox pore minimizing one, personally. I think I can like actually see it blur my pores around the nose, which that's what I like to see with a pore blurring primer. Anyways, so that is me applying that, and then I went in with my concealer on my cheeks just as I usually would, and then I went back in with the Conceal and Hydrate foundation. Now again, I only used one pump this time, hoping that at least it'll make it last a little bit longer and not look so masky, but I already spoiled that for you, what happens there. And now I'll zoom you guys back in to see how that foundation settled on top of that Pore Blur primer. It's looking pretty nice. As you can see, one pump is just a medium coverage. You can see all my freckling and everything, but it's already kind of gathering around my nose. My actual bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, which was a problem when I didn't use any primer and the baking oil, that it was separating with that situation. With this situation, the Pore Blur, it's stuck on my nose, no problem. So that was good, but I did have to go back out with a sponge and pat around my nose, the little creases. So that was like a sign of what might be to come. So then I went back in with a little bit of the Conceal and Hydrate concealer. Now I think that this is like, it has like a decent coverage. It's pretty like medium-ish, medium plus. I've used this with a couple other foundations, hoping that it might be like a saving grace, since it's supposed to be hydrating, and it has literally the same problem no matter how I use it. It is crease city, and I don't like that. I have smile lines around my eyes, just little itty bitty ones, and it rolls and balls into those lines no matter what foundation pairing, primer pairing, by itself or powder, it's doing that. So I'm not liking that, and that's really the main area that I conceal because I want to brighten it and I want it to look really nice and smooth, and I wanted it to look hydrated. Now I will say I really like the Makeup Revolution, the original Conceal and Define concealer, so maybe that's why this is like too much. Maybe it's too much hydration for me and it like rolls in pills. So the original one is like perfect because it's a little bit more hydrating, I think, than Shape Tape, but it just doesn't have as much coverage as Shape Tape. So it's a nice like everyday kind of concealer, and this one right here, it's just not looking good on me. So that's the main area of concern. Everywhere else it does look pretty fine. It's totally fine, like on my upper lip and everything and on my chin. So before I put on the powder, I had to keep patting out my under eyes. That's how much it kept creasing and rolling. Every time I patted out with a beauty sponge, it like rolled back into it. It was crazy. Even crazier than not my other combination that I just showed you a couple minutes ago. So it's just not, it doesn't work well. It's not going good. I think you guys get the point. But I'll zoom you guys in one more time so you can see all 4 products paired together. I feel like it looks pretty nice overall. You wouldn't really be able to tell. It's kind of hard to tell on camera almost, but honestly, I have to tell you, it just looks masky. It just looks like it's sitting on top of my skin. One more time to show you what everything looks like, because I finished my whole makeup look about 2 hours ago now, and I think that's pretty fair since I showed you my other 2-hour wear time. And hopefully you guys can see for yourself what I mean about that masky and like textured look. I don't want that textured look personally. It's not really something that I jive with. So let me show you, let me just show you. Come on in one more time to this mug. Too much, back out. I don't usually have a problem with my smile lines around my mouth. I don't usually consider myself to have smile lines around my mouth except when I'm smiling. However, this foundation begs to differ, or concealer, whatever the culprit is. No matter what pairing I did, this would happen. Do you see that? It's almost like the foundation gathers and then it separates. It won't properly like adhere to the skin. That's why I thought HYDRATE primer would save the day. It didn't. It made it worse, actually. So you can definitely see, it's just masky. It's just not good. And I know that this is a drugstore product, all of these are, but there's so many great drugstore foundation concealers, all of that out there, that we can try to make sure we try to find the right ones. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to like sit here and like bash like a $10, $15 foundation, but I want you guys to know what you like and what you don't like and see maybe for yourself or whatever. I can't judge the under eyes right now because I did purple eyeshadow there, but I can tell you it was creased already when I went to go do my eyeshadow an hour after wearing it. So there you go. We tried. We gave it a good college try, honestly. Maybe even a little more than a college try, and it's just not gonna work for me. We're just not best friends. And that's something that I have to come to terms with. It is what it is, you know? So basically, to sum up my thoughts, I mean, you kind of get the hint. It's just not really working for me, but I will say the Pore Blur Primer is pretty good, so I am happy with that one, and I'm gonna be continuing to use that, and maybe you guys will see that in some favorites. I don't know. I still want to play around with it and pair it with more things that aren't this. These two guys, they're just not gonna work out for me. I tried my best, like I just said. Didn't work out, too bad, so sad, tried my best. Let me know down in the comments below if you've tried either of these and what your thoughts and opinions are, or any of these 4 products, because I would love to get some more feedback from you guys. And did you like the original line? So make sure to let me know that. And then the powder, like I said, it is the best drugstore range powder that I've tried personally. Usually they're like super dry and life-sucking. This one isn't the most dry. It does still have a powdery look, but it definitely doesn't add any hydration or anything like that in there. But quite frankly, it doesn't say that it does. Now it does say conceal and fix setting powder, which is kind of confusing because I don't necessarily understand what it's concealing and what it's fixing. Oh, it's fixing because they're like color correcting powders, like the lavender. I will say, yeah, I mean, it does brighten a little bit. So for $11, it's not a bad powder at all. It's just these two guys right here. No. All right, so you guys get the hint, you guys get the point. Thank you guys so much for sitting back and tuning in and watching this little review video of mine and see what I have to say and my opinions on this line is. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it right now if you would consider going ahead and doing that. That way you get notified when I post new videos, which is at least 3 times a week. And if you like these videos where I go in depth and actually try a foundation for longer periods of time rather than just a first impressions, definitely give this video a thumbs up. That way I know that that's something that you guys want to see more in the future. In the year 2000. dude, I used to watch Conan O'Brien all the time. All the time. I need to start watching that again. He's on a different channel now though, Anyways, I am tired. I've been filming this video all day to get all these shots for you guys, and I'm gonna go take a nap before I need to pick my daughter up from school. So anyways, I hope that every single one of you guys out there, every single one of you guys have a great, freaking awesome, wonderful, happy, lovely, beautiful, and hydrated if you need some hydration, and drink some water because H2O is the key to life. Day!